from an acting perspective, the film for me personally, the film was much more than just an action film full of firefights. There was a very deep message running throughout the film, and there's a lot of quite emotional, touching moments that have been extraordinarily written. But then from a former Royal Marines commando point of view, the film was just an absolute gift to be a part of. I think I speak for all of us that where I say that it was an opportunity for us to represent the Royal Marines and represent the lads in the Royal Marines, or lads that have left, or lads that are sadly not with us anymore. So hopefully we were able to do them justice and make them proud.
Okay. So James, you've
and I think with the
oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to add on with the action that one of the best things I think about the action in this film is it came so naturally, and so it was actually quite a comfort. On your question whether it was like if it was difficult, it was actually quite a comfortable thing to sit into that action for us. It was so natural, so organic, and it just, those situations would be so not easy, but so natural for us just to work through and fight through. And so those firefights and the action sequences hopefully come across that way, and they add some authenticity to that. And the beautiful thing is that we didn't have to really do a lot of research because it was our job. We knew what we were doing. We've always done this. We just had to do this thing, which is such muscle memory for us now. We just have to do that again, and hopefully that comes across on screen, and hopefully it's enjoyable on screen.
So James, title of the film, full title is Sunray, Fallen Soldier. Can you explain the title, the Sunray aspect of that?
Yeah, so first of all, it's like radio procedure in the military for like the boss or the troop commander. So that's Sunray. It kind of attributes to our lead protagonist, Andy, played by Tip Cullen. He is essentially Sunray. He is the troop boss. But kind of nicely and intentionally, it kind of has a nice deeper meaning. It's like that ray of light. It's a ray of hope, light in the darkness, which kind of is a secondary effect of the title. And that's essentially what it means. And we thought it was quite like an engaging and endearing title, something that kind of captures your imagination. And most people don't really know what it means. But we hope with the artwork and the trailer and that, you'll kind of get the picture.
So the firefight scenes in this are terrific. There's a real sense of sort of authenticity about it. And I'm just wondering, with your background, with all of your background, so many of these action films with a military basis just don't look the business, and this one does. So were there moments in this where you think, well, actually in this scenario, no, we wouldn't be doing that. We would be dealing it like, in this way, like, as you say, you've mentioned muscle memory.
Yeah, with a lot of those action sequences, people can debate tactics all day, and they inevitably will, especially in the military community. But you work with what you have, and so in those situations we presented, we were a four-man team, for example. This is what we were equipped with, and this is what we were going up against. We didn't have to block those scenes out very, very much. We just ran with that situation, those facts of the situation. We would clear that building, or we would enter that firefight with that four-man team aspect, and that's how we would operate it. So the good thing about that is we didn't have to rehearse very much, and it gave the camera teams freedom to film us from any angle, because there's nothing that really wasn't being covered. We were operating as a four-man team, and this is how, again, it was our jobs for a long time. And as Royal Marine Commandos, we knew our job very well, and we would lots of us personally experienced those kind of situations and know how to deal with it. So very happy that comes across to you on screen. And I know we had a lot of fun doing that.
So for all of you now, from a directing point and being in front of the camera, with those action scenes, what was the most sort of difficult scene to do?
I think the hardest one, we've got this really cool scene in a quarry, and it's a continuous one shot that does a 360-degree rotation around the quarry. I think we go around the quarry twice, actually. And it's like non-stop action. We're kind of in on the ground with the guys who are getting shot at, and you can't see the people who are shooting, which is the echo team. And you know, it's really kind of vivid, and you feel like you're right there with them. But I think we had about 20 people on set, like in the shot, basically. And, you know, trying to time all the different actions with the camera running around, it was quite an ambitious one shot to carry out. And it was a great location. It just all kind of came together in the end, and I think it looks really good. It's one of my favorite scenes in the film.
There's no tricks on that, is it? It's an actual one shot.
So that is an actual one
so
shot.
it's an actual, because I know that happens a lot these days. People try and do the one. Well, they do the one shot, but there's a lot of tricks they use to getting that. This was an actual one shot.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, you say about the one shot, both yourself, Tom, and Steve, you've worked on with Scott Adkins on One More Shot. So how did you find working with Scott? Did you pick up tips from him, or were you able to give him tips?
So I worked with him. I also worked on the first one. I military advised the first film, and then came on board again for the second film. So yeah, I met. And what's brilliant about him is he is a man at the top of his game, but he takes advice very willingly from the experts. And so when I was there on set, he would always take advice, and I would look at what he's doing and say, perhaps you could add this, perhaps you could do this. And he's so consistent that adding things is quite easy because he's going to do it the same again. So adding a new bit on top, he's very good at doing that. So that was quite enjoyable. And I've definitely picked up a few tricks from him because, again, he's a man who knows his stuff. He knows the screen. And so just as I've given him tips and tricks, he's more than happy to send them back.
Tom, thanks to Tom that I had the opportunity to work on that film. But
the film has been supported by veterans about the effects of PTSD. I'm just wondering, with your own extensive military background, was there not a risk yourselves of, I don't know if you've suffered from this yourself, but of the effects of that impacting on you filming such scenes?
For me, I have been affected by those things in the past. I was medically discharged with PTSD as part of it. And for me, part of my recovery process was the arts and was creativity. So doing these kind of stories, it is a form of therapy for me. Oddly enough, walking that fine, dangerous line, for me actually helps me. The closer I am to it, the more I can deal with it. And it's beyond that, it's often a good measure for me if I can talk about, if I can do these scenes and touch on these things that could potentially be a problem. If I start to feel some worrying things, then I know I've got some work to do on it. But in general, it is therapy for me to tell these stories, and that's why I love telling them, and hopefully do a good job at telling them, because it's my job, but it's also my therapy. So
I can't speak for you guys as well, but I think the environment and the people on set, hopefully, because it was a veteran and former Royal Marines kind of cast and crew on set, I think it was quite a supportive, and it's like a brotherhood, wasn't it? So if anything was a bit deep and dark, and I know you guys had to go into those deep and dark places at sometimes for some of the scenes, you were around the lads when we called cut, and it was hopefully a good environment to be in.
It was a very, very safe space. For the question that you asked about whether it could trigger us to fall, is relapsing the right word? Like relapsing into trauma. It was the safest place to do that if anyone, you know, was badly affected. But I think for me, same as you, we all have demons. I think every person has demons, and I like to watch films that I can relate to any demons that I might have in my past. So hopefully, in making this film, and it does touch on some quite dark subject matters. Hopefully, people can relate and not feel alone, and you know, it can bring a little bit of happiness to people, even though it's a dark film. Seems a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
say
but
it's like,
there's fun. There's fun, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's entertaining, but it also, we hope it leaves people something deeper. But it's a good point, and I would add, like, if anyone does walk away from it in a dark place or kind of reliving anything they've been through, reach out and, you know, find support and talk to people, because I think that's one of the big things that the film was kind of made for. It was to kind of encourage people to talk and to raise awareness and put a spotlight on these issues. And there's a great charity, Rock to Recovery, who we're partnering with for our London premiere, who are doing great work with veterans, not just veterans, but, you know, people struggling with mental health. So, you know, if you're struggling, they would be a great one to reach out to.
great. Well, it's a terrific film. I mean, it really is. And the action sequences are really terrific in it. It's so well done. And that scene in the quarry you mentioned, I picked up on it being one shot, and I was wondering if it was one shot, but it's terrifically done. So thank you all. I want to say something which I don't think we do really enough in this country, and that's sort of James, Steven, Tom. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Yes.
And we will also, come on, Steve. Yeah.
I'm further behind.
Steve, you got to go down
Behind
the gym,
him.
honestly. You need to go down the gym.
I need to. He goes every day. I just want to be
Just
like
chasing
him.
him.
Letting the
Chasing him
side
the whole
down.
time.
Letting the side down. Okay. Thanks very much, chaps. Thank you.